If you're pregnant now or you have been in the past, there's a good chance you've heard your OB say something like, your baby isn't in quite the ideal position for birth, or we really need your baby to turn in order to get that vaginal birth. Or, guys, the one that really stops us in our tracks is where they say, let's schedule the C-section now to make everything easier. Well, newsflash or spoiler alert, whatever you want to say, that may be more convenient for the doctors, but that's definitely not easier on mom at this point, right? Unfortunately, the ability to support that breech birth naturally has completely faded from our medical system. It's become a medical emergency, not because your body is broken or your baby doesn't know how to be born, but because many OBs today simply aren't trained in breech birth anymore. It's not even their fault. I can't even sit here and just blame the OB, right? It's not their fault. It's that those medical schools have completely taken that training out, and it is very, very hard to find someone who is trained in breech birth. So it's this is where chiropractic care enters the chat big time. Guys, something that we have to absolutely remember too is that chiropractors do not turn babies, okay? They're not turning breech babies. We are not going in turning breech baby. We want to make that clear. So let's clear something up. They 100% do not turn breech babies. What we do as neurologically focused chiropractors is we help you. So when your nervous system is under stress, whether it's physical, chemical, emotional, traumas, all of those different things, mental, whatever it may be, your body will store that stress and it will never process it. It'll just store it as stress. And when that stress gets stuck, it can create physical tension. And then that tension becomes, it impacts your muscles, it impacts your ligaments, it impacts your pelvis, and also, yes, your uterus, which is what we're talking about today. So, chiropractic adjustments help regulate your nervous system. They teach your body how to process that stress so that you're not just storing it as stress. It'll teach you how to actually process it. It teaches you how to relax your neuromuscular system and create a more balanced space for baby to move. And sometimes when that happens, your baby just chooses to turn, wants to be head down once they have enough space in the uterus to be able to turn. And that is incredible. But it's also just the beginning. Chiropractic is more than just breech babies, okay? So we've had so many pregnant women get referred to our office because their baby is breech. Many times when these women, when they get adjusted, when they're on that care plan, their baby does choose to flip. And yes, that is literally the coolest thing ever. We absolutely love that. I don't want to just be like, oh, that doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying in this video at all. So hear me out. The bigger question is, though, should that be the end of their chiropractic journey? That's what we see a lot of the times because, we're not truly educating what we actually do. Yes, your baby turned, it's amazing, but what's actually happening? So, should this be the end of the chiropractic story? Absolutely not, guys. We're just getting started. Your nervous system as a pregnant mom is not just yours anymore, okay? So, I want you to think about your baby because it's directly influencing your baby's developing nervous system. Whatever stress that mom is going through and feeling, baby will also feel. That's through the umbilical cord because that umbilical cord, right, that attachment point is passing hormones. But what controls the hormones? It's the nervous system, and that's what that does. So this is how baby is feeling what mom goes through. That prenatal stress not only impacts baby in utero, but it can also affect baby after they are born. Maybe their sleep patterns are off. Their stress response is definitely not regulated. Their emotions aren't regulated. Even risk factors such as anxiety or ADHD and so many more, we call that the perfect storm. At Rising Health, we talk about that very, very often. But that will be the perfect storm. That's the cascade of events because of that prenatal stress. So when you get adjusted, it's not just about you anymore, right? Your baby is benefiting too, even before birth. So let's talk about the role of the nervous system has during birth. This is the coolest thing. This is one of my most favorite things. But there's three distinct phases, and each requires a specific nervous system response. So in order to initiate that labor, it requires your body to be in a parasympathetic state. So that brake pedal side, you need that. That has to kick in. You're going to feel calm. You're going to feel safe. And we want you to be supported to trigger that oxytocin and get labor going naturally. This is going to be when the lights are dim, maybe you're sleeping, you're at home, you're somewhere where you feel very safe. The second step is going to be, that active labor. And when you need to push baby out, this is where not only your gas pedal as a mom turns on, that sympathetic nervous system activates, but it's also when baby's turns on as well. So we need both gas pedals to be rocking at that time. That will give you energy. It'll help you have the stamina. It'll also just coordinate both you and baby together to really get baby out. So the second step, I want to review is that a lot of times when mom goes to a hospital, labor will stall. And that's because their gas pedal turned on way too fast. So we need to get that parasympathetic nervous system, that brake pedal back on track so that when you are ready to be in that transition point to push, when gas pedal should be on and go, then we have it ready to fire. Okay. Number three, and this is that post-birth transition. So that's when you and baby both return to that parasympathetic dominant, where you are just chill, when you are skin on skin. That's where both of you are just completely relaxed. This is critical for bonding, for breastfeeding, for latch, and for that recovery. We also love that skin on skin part because that totally helps the co-regulation, where your nervous system is starting to teach even more than when in utero, teach baby's nervous system how to function. So when your nervous system can simply shift between gas pedal and brake pedal, that's what we want, right? That fluid balance. Labor tends to go way more smoothly when it can't. We see things like stalled labor, like I talked about. We see interventions come in when we do not have a regulated nervous system. We see difficulty transitioning to postpartum, and that's not what we want for you. We want a regulated nervous system. Okay, so now let's talk about what happens after birth, right? Another spoiler for you guys. You don't just stop needing care the moment your baby is born. Your body has literally just been through a marathon. So whether you had a vaginal or an abdominal birth, it was intense. And now you're in charge of nourishing. You have to nourish that baby. You have to bond with that baby. You're really in charge of caring for a newborn who has never seen earth before. They don't know what they're doing. And so that's why you also need that support in recovery. So that's why postpartum chiropractic is it is so needed and it's so essential. The biggest benefit of postpartum care is nervous system regulation. You need that nervous system regulation during the biggest hormonal shift of a woman's life, and that's postpartum. So you definitely want your nervous system to be regulated. You also get to have that faster physical recovery. Your pelvis gets to, hopefully return, maybe not back to completely normal, but it's going to return to a safe point. You're going to, start prepping if you want to have more babies or whatever you want to do at this point, whether you want to get back to running or those physical activities. You need that support. Also, postpartum chiropractic is better breastfeeding posture, right? We're always, feeding baby, right? Hunched forward. And so that's really, really helpful for that posture when getting adjusted. Regulated milk supply. This one, it shocked me too. I've heard people say, I've seen a couple studies, but for my wife, getting adjusted really helped regulate her milk supply. It really has helped our kids latch as well. So easier latch. And then emotional resilience in early motherhood, it is emotionally exhausting at that point. It may be designed to be that way where you want to bring a village around you, and that's what prenatal and postpartum chiropractic care is for you as well. And then also, let's not forget about your newborn. They also just went through that same marathon that you did. And they're brand new to this life. They're hitting milestones for the very first time ever. So they're learning how to eat. They're learning how to sleep, they're learning how to poop, they're learning how to move for the first time in their entire life. And again, it's all new to them. So these functions may be simple to us. We don't necessarily think about, our sleep or how we eat or poop. Well, sometimes we have to, but it should come relatively easy when we have a functioning nervous system. But it's really complex to them because they've never done it before. So when your baby gets adjusted, things that we've seen is better sleep, calmer digestion, which will also help with, like those colicky babies, reflux, easier latch and feeding, healthier development. They're hitting those milestones with ease. And then most importantly, they help your baby co-regulate with you. Adjustments are so important for that. So when both of you are getting adjusted, that is really, really important. Even when you bring dad along as well, because all of your nervous systems are always interacting with one another. And when one of you or two of you are not regulated, it's going to throw off the other one's nervous system. So we want to make sure that all of you are completely regulated. You're able to flow through that gas versus brake, all those awesome things, because when your nervous system is regulated, it's going to teach your baby how to do the same. All right, guys, I know that was a lot of information, but now let's put some action to it. So if you've heard about prenatal chiropractic care for your breech baby, that's awesome. But let's not let it stop there. I know this video, like I said, has a lot of information, like I said, but if you've learned one thing, I hope it's that neurologically focused chiropractic care doesn't just help your baby get into an ideal position. That's great, it does, but it also helps both mom and baby's nervous systems be regulated, adaptable, and resilient to the stressors that life brings with it. If you're ready to take that action step with the information you just learned, reach out to us. We'd love to talk with you. Love to hear your baby story. Love to hear your prenatal journey that you're on. We just want to meet you. We want to answer your questions. We want to be able to create that customized care plan that supports you and your little sweet baby in the future or when they are born, but we want to, support you guys every single step of the way. If you want to learn more, go to the link in our bio because there's going to be a full article on everything that I talked about today with even more information than I could even fit in this video. So we want you guys to just be able to learn. We cannot wait to help you and your growing baby thrive. God bless.